Good evening. We are back from a recess. We had started at 6 o'clock for other matters in closed session. We are now back in open session, and the next thing up is Pledge of Allegiance. And I think we might have some students.
Yes, from the high school, the ROTC program, they're going to present the colors.
We shall rise.
Color guard, forward, march! Mark time, march! Color guard, halt! Left, face! Precinct, colors. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. Order, colors. Right, face. Color guard, forward, march.
Thank you all very much. Please be seated. Next item we have is School of the Month. Ritenour High School and Husky Academy are our schools for October. Dr. Green.
Absolutely. All right. Good afternoon, or good evening, rather, board members, superintendent, members of the community. Tonight, we have some dynamic presenters, not necessarily the staff, but our students. But we do have our leadership program as well as our art teacher. They're going to come to the presentation. I'm going to sit down because I want them to lead this presentation. But please know that everything that we do is aligned with the vision as well as the mission of the Ritenour School District, as we're a subset of the district, and we believe in every child every day. So with that being said, I'll turn it over to Ms. Ware.
Perfect. Hi everyone, my name is Kaylin Ware. I am a honors biology and leadership teacher. I'm a 2017 graduate of Ritenour High School, and I am also a product of Ritenour Leadership under the instruction of Ms. Palmer Harvey.
Hi, my name is Kennedy Beverly. I'm a senior at Ritenour High School, and I'm currently on the track to be admitted to the SIU nursing program.
Hi, my name is Logan Simpson. I'm a junior, and I'm a member of leadership.
Hi, I'm Patrick Pitts. I'm a senior, and I'm currently on the track to be admitted to Mizzou's dentistry program.
The leadership family rejects complacency by being resilient and courageous. We support and uplift each other to be our best selves in order to be a group of student leaders who are intentional with our actions and who are dedicated to making a positive impact. This is our mission. The 4 pillars of leadership's vision is to engage, serve, empower, and lead. We do this by displaying excellence at the school and within the community. Our equity statement that aligns with Ritenour High School is to prioritize our interactions with every parent, student, guest, and colleague. As you can see in these 2 pictures, the first one is our Make-A-Wish walk. I'm right in the middle. And then the second picture is us giving out books to children at the Black and Orange Day.
Our goal is to engage our student body, our faculty, and our community in everything we do. Annually, we do staff royalty for our teachers and staff members at the high school to raise money for Make-A-Wish. This allows us to raise a great sum of money for Make-A-Wish, as well as highlight some influential members of our high school. A big highlight from last year was doing a fundraiser for Miss Hampton while she was battling breast cancer. Service is a pillar of leadership. We try to do as many service opportunities as we can. We do a lot of spirit weeks and appreciation for our staff and students. A couple of the big ones would be like the canned food drive we do in the fall, Veterans Day, and then Adopt a Family in the winter. Adopt a Family is a program that allows us to give back to members of the community who have fallen on hard times. We try to empower everyone within our community. Last year we became a unified school with SSD, and with that, with being a unified school, we do the friendship dance with our SSD buddies, creating better relationships with them, as well as helping with unified events throughout the year.
So in leadership, the program has grown a lot actually. So in the 2022 and 2023 school year, we had about 21 students, and now it's up to 26. So right now the class is only available for sophomores, juniors, and seniors because of having one period, but the club is available for all. Being key communicators in the school means that we present solutions and ideas to the districts, and we serve as the voice for the student body. For community service, as being a senior in leadership, I have about 80 community service hours, but throughout all the seniors in the class, we have 200 combined, and each student has 20 every year. And then this picture right here is it's like a lock-in we do at the school for homecoming to get decorations done for the gym and foyer. And this is babysitting, so we do this for the elementary, middle schools, and high school during parent-teacher conference. Thank you.
How's it going? My name is Paul Kennedy. I'm one of the art teachers at Ritenour High School. This is just an update for the lab studio that you guys built for us. My goals for the art studio and lab is basically for all my classes. I always want to push my students to think above or and beyond the conventional projects, expose students to new and different innovative ways of being creative, and that will help them expand their creativity. New things that we have in the studio lab are 2 new wood turning lathes where we can make lidded boxes, spinning tops, turning pens, jewelry making with earrings and rings, and then new projects that we're experimenting with, and I have examples of these. Wooden toys, new and different instruments from the mountain dulcimers that we did, and then laminated projects such as boomerangs and skateboards. And with all this, I can tie in math and science with that, so they get more learning besides just making the art. Here's examples of the lidded boxes, spinning tops, wooden toys, instruments. That's a lap drum, that's a blue frog, and then over here a student has been working on a flute that they're making. And then this is our laser cutter that we have, and so students have been working with different ways of making sculptures and then puzzles also. And one of those is hanging up over there. This is a Hollander paper beater, which is a machine that takes any kind of natural paper natural fibers, and it makes it into a pulp that you can make paper with. With the paper, we've been experimenting with making anthotypes, which are sun prints, using spinach juice, and then also with that pulp, we can make sculptures. And the process, we take basically just any kind of cotton that we have, or grasses, or anything like that, and it processes the fibers into a pulp. Then we use a mold and decal to make the actual paper. And then here, students are using a mortise and pestle to grind up the spinach leaves so we can juice those, paint the juice onto the paper, make a stencil, and then expose that to the sun. It bleaches out where it's exposed, and it keeps it where it doesn't, and then you get an anthotype. So, more updates to come for you guys. I'm good. All right.
That's some cool stuff going on there.
Yeah, that's a lot. And it's all
And should I leave this stuff
Yeah, that's
here?
fine.
Okay.
That's fine, Paul.
Great.
Yeah,
I'll
so
leave
board
that
members, questions for leadership or Mr. Kennedy?
There was one slide up there that said you wanted to be courageous and, I missed the first word, I forgot it. Resilient and courageous. You all had to be just one and not the other. Which one would it be?
For me, I like the word resilient. To me, being a leader, being resilient is striving when nobody else is helping you out, figuring out ideas when you don't have any, trying to find new solutions when there are none. So I like the word resilient more than courageous.
Okay.
You talked about demonstrating excellence, right? And so what does that look like on your day-to-day as a member of leadership with Mr. Strong and Ms. Weir? What does it look like to demonstrate excellence?
For me, demonstrating excellence is striving to be a better version of yourself. Because when I first joined leadership, I wasn't at the best I could be. So right now, I feel like I'm way better than where I started from.
What's one example of that?
So I kind of hung around a bad group of kids when I first joined, but now I feel like I'm surrounding myself around people that are striving to be better and they want to do something with their life. You know what I mean?
Thank you. Anybody else?
I remember once upon a time, I believe both middle school and Hank also had leadership programs. Is there any way to tie those programs in with the high school ones so that you can also increase the amount of recruitment into your leadership program?
We just helped out Dr. Beebe at Hake get a leadership program started, and then I still believe at Ritenour Middle there is a leadership program run by the counselors, and as far as right now there's nothing set up for us to help them, but I'm sure they'd be open to it.
So with a lot of that, to add to your question, that's the reason why we have the leadership club, because we would miss the ninth graders if we didn't have the club. With the club, the ninth graders are allowed to join the club, and then they still participate with the leadership activities. They're just not in the actual class. But any of the things that we do with leadership, the club students are allowed to assist with that. And we manage that. That's something that we manage after school as well.
So for example, we have our Gateway District meeting for the Missouri Association of Student Council on November 2nd, and we invited club members to be a part of that meeting so that they can get the experience and also bond with their fellow classmates. And Logan will also be presenting at the district meeting for the Missouri Association of Student Council. Unfortunately, with cheer, they have to go do big things at state, but they would have been presenting as well.
In addition to that, we are exploring the option of opening up a ninth grade section next year. So students transitioning from middle school can have a ninth grade option on their courses in middle school.
Awesome.
Awesome. Sounds great.
Any other questions?
That was wonderful. Before anybody moves, can we have the parents of our leadership group stand up so we can recognize you as well? Because they just didn't learn this on their own. They had a lot of times leaders learn by example. And we thank you for the example that you've set for our leadership group. Get the picture over there.
Oh, it's all right. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Now for our second school of the month, our Husky Academy. Very bright tonight.
Yeah.
Like that.
Thank you. Hope I know how to use this thing.
Yeah, just a big number.
Okay. Oh, that's simple enough. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. Good evening.
I'm Tavonda Palmer Harvey, Director of Alternative Education at Husky Academy. And I brought with me today my two middle school teachers, Ms. Higgins and Ms. Preston, and we have some students that Ms. Higgins will introduce a little bit later. We're going to go ahead and get started. So at Husky Academy, all the work that we do is aligned to the vision, mission, and equity statement. And today, Ms. Higgins is going to talk to you about Calm Classroom and how she uses it in the classroom. And then the students are going to demonstrate with you some of the strategies that they use. Ms. Higgins?
So, Calm Classroom, we have a statement that Ms. Harvey likes us to use that the teachers kind of came up with together, learn, grow, become. So Calm Classroom kind of helps the students to learn, to grow, and to become. It helps them with self-awareness, with self-regulation, and with self-control. Because the children who come to us sometimes are challenged, and learning self-control takes everything else and puts it on the back burner. Once they have self-control, then they can do anything.
So I want to start with Hazel. And Hazel is actually not at Husky Academy anymore. She's at Ritenour Middle. And she is in 8th grade, and she has been thriving at Ritenour Middle. And so we called on Hazel to come help us out because she actually uses the strategies over at Ritenour Middle. So Hazel, will you walk us through your first one? What is it called?
It's called stress relief.
Okay, all right. So you want everybody to do it with you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so what do we need to do?
Okay, so first you make sure that your feet are grounded. What?
So if everybody could stand.
Okay, you take a seat now. You want to.
Oh, you want them to stand or you want them to sit? You want them to sit. Sorry.
Okay, so you'll put your hand on the side of your chair.
Put your hand on the side of your chair. You gotta speak up so everybody can hear you.
And you'll squeeze as tight as you can for 10 seconds. And then you release for 10 seconds. And you'll exhale. You'll inhale while you squeeze. So for 10 each time.
So you want that?
All right, so we're gonna go through it one more time, and we're gonna go through it so that everybody can hear. So she's gonna talk directly into here. All right, and you're gonna take your time so that we can count the 10 seconds and we can actually do it with you. Okay. All right. Well, are you more comfortable sitting down? All right.
Okay, so you'll grab the side of the chair for 10 seconds and you'll inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you'll exhale while let it go of the chair for 10 seconds. 1, 2, 5, 10. And then you do it again. Inhale for 10 seconds. And then you exhale. And that's it.
Can you tell us how the Calm Classroom helped you?
So for me, I don't really like moving around when I'm upset, so I kind of just stay in one spot. And stress and relief help me because I can just hold on to the chair and squeeze and I don't have to do as much. And I can sit there for 10 seconds.
Thank you, Hazel. So Faith is actually our demonstrator. So Faith, I'm gonna have you stand here. And then next we have Adam. And Adam, I'm gonna give you the mic. And while you're reading it, okay, Faith is gonna demonstrate and everybody's gonna join you, okay? Awesome. And Adam is also in 8th grade.
We're going to prep. Hold on.
What's it called?
We're practicing triangle. Hold on. We're practicing triangle breathing today. You want to sit up straight and comfortably in your chair. Press your hands on your desk or in your lap. Close your eyes. Feel your feet flat on the floor. Relax your shoulders back and down. Let your whole body be still. Feel the air move in and out of your nose. Begin by exhaling the air gently out of your lungs. Now, inhale, 1, 2, 3. Hold, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Hold, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Hold, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Hold, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Now, breathe normally and relax. Feel the air moving in and out of your nose. Now, take a deep breath in, hold, and exhale slowly. Notice how you feel.
All right, thank you, Adam. Tell us how you use it or how it helps you.
So, in the morning times, when we're just getting school, just waking up, we'll do it, and it'll help me like focus and engage in what we're doing for the day.
Awesome, thank you. And this is True, and True is also in 8th grade. And this is our last one. Go ahead, just read it.
This is butterfly breathing. Palms of your hands together. Then breathe in through your nose as you lift your elbows up and out to the side. When you breathe out through your nose, you will bring your elbows back down towards each other. All right. We're going to practice a butterfly breathing. Sit up straight and comfortably in your chair. Rest your hands in your desk or in your lap. Close your eyes. Feel your feet flat on the floor. Relax your shoulders back and down. Let your whole body be still. Feel the air moving in and out of your nose. Interlace your fingers and hands and place them under your chin. Breathe in through your nose and lift your elbows up and out to the sides. Breathe out through your nose and lower your elbows down towards each other. Breathe in, lift your elbows up. Breathe out, let your elbows down. Breathe in, let your elbows up. Breathe out, let your elbows down. Breathe in, let your elbows up. Breathe out, let your elbows down. Breathe in, elbows up. Breathe out, elbows down. Slowly lower your hands to rest on your desk or on your lap. Feel the air moving in and out of your nose. Now take a deep breath in, hold, and exhale slowly. Notice how you feel and slowly open your eyes.
Awesome, thank you, True. How do you use Calm Classroom, or how does it help you, True?
Help me refocus and reset my mind of stuff that I struggle with. And yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. Thank you, True. All right, so Faith was our demonstrator. I just want her to tell everybody how she uses Calm Classroom as well.
Calm Classroom helped me through the day and get me to focus in class. And yeah.
Okay. What grade are you in, Faith?
I'm in 6th grade.
6th grade.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right, so as Ms. Higgins said, our motto at Husky Academy is to learn, grow, and become. And we do that as a community. So we also participate. If you're in the classroom with the students, teachers are doing this as well, but it gives them an opportunity to learn new techniques so they can grow and leave us to become. Any questions? Hopefully you feel centered.
I just dim the lights and we'll just call it done for the day. I would not have guessed any of you were in middle school. I would say that you were probably juniors in high school.
That's the maturity.
I really think that is the maturity level that you bring to this group and all of this that you've learned. You've done a tremendous amount of teaching and growing with these young people.
How often do you learn new strategies?
Every day.
Every day you learn new strategies?
Every day, or is it once a week?
Once a week? Hazel says she learns it every day.
Okay.
But once a week.
Okay.
And you have to remember, these skills are great for anxiety. You're going to use them for the rest of your life. Your tools in your toolbox. So you've actually taught me 3 new ways. Is the one that I know is blowing out the candle, where you take a deep breath and then you slowly blow out like you're going to blow out a candle. Just to remind yourself before a test, before you're going to do something, like even coming here and talking to us. And so you can teach us older people something new too.
That's right. We learn from them every day. That's for sure.
So thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
And before you leave, we gotta acknowledge the parents that came with them, right? The families. Could you stand up so we can acknowledge people? Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Doing great work.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next thing on our agenda is the report of closed session. It is my duty to report the Board of Education met in closed session on September 12th, 2024 and September 24th of 2024 for a discussion of personnel and safety agenda items. Next thing is 3.4, which is public comments, of which I have one. The board invites citizens, staff, students to attend its meetings in order to become better acquainted with the schools and so forth. Public comments are normally scheduled at all regular business Board of Education meetings. No more than 30 minutes are allotted generally for public comments, and each individual will have 5 minutes to address the board. At this time, could Ms. Joan Clark come on down?
There's another person filling out the form now too. He didn't realize he had to fill out the form.
Okay.
So I just wanted to let you know.
Awesome.
Yep.
Good evening.
Hi. I wrote everything down, and I hope I can read it correctly. Good evening, school board members. I'm here tonight to talk to you as a parent, but full disclosure, as some of you know, I'm a teacher. To be more specific, I'm a teacher for Special School District at Haight Middle School. I'm going to do my best to only speak to you as a parent and as an almost lifetime community member, but there's no real way for me to separate myself from what I do, and you understand this if you understand anything about being a teacher. Primarily, I'm here to speak to you about how we are treating our students and staff, if we are holding students accountable, and what we can do to lessen the stress and raise the morale of the students and staff who are interested in the top-notch education Ritenour could be providing every student. We're not doing that. We're focusing on the wrong things. Here's an email I sent to Dr. Green September 24th after about 6 straight days in a row of safety alerts from the high school. Dr. Green, what kind of counseling and restorative activities and opportunities are being offered to and practiced by the students and staff at the high school considering all of the safety threats being made so far this year? It is a great concern for me that we seem to be so focused on communicating the punishments of the offenders, but not communicating what is being done to lift up, support, and care for the students and staff who are impacted by the violence they are experiencing. I'd like to meet with you soon. I have yet to receive a reply from Dr. Green or any other administrator on his behalf. Let me be clear that the violence students and staff are experiencing are not just the threats, including guns. There are threats of violence experienced when the children in our school curse at each other and at teachers and staff. There are physical acts of pushing, shoving, yelling, running, entering classrooms and spaces they are not assigned to, throwing things, banging on lockers, and running through the halls, whether that be at passing times, arrival and dismissal times, or during class. I gave a lot of thought to this presentation being riddled with the words that my daughter, her teachers, and other students and parents report hearing throughout the day at Ritenour High School. When I asked my daughter what kind of messages she heard from administration, whether it be on the announcements or in passing, she said it was announced that threats would not be tolerated. Ritenour is better than this, and that students should, quote, knock it off. I don't know exactly what was said, but that's what she heard. She has let me know that at least twice this year she has not been able to even get into the building until about 8:30 a.m. because of searches that are occurring as students enter. While it is necessary to take precautions, I also feel like we would not have these larger problems if we held students and their parents accountable for all such things like verbal threats, cursing, or other acts that disrupt the learning environment. Students who make it clear that they are only going to continually disrupt the environment should have their parents contacted, and plans should be put in place for them after 1 or 2 instances. This is my 8th year in a row being a parent at Ritenour High School. That means I've had about 50 teachers, at least 4 counselors, and I don't even know how many assistant principals. Dr. Green is the 4th principal in 8 years, and he's playing 2 roles in the district to get the job covered. But why? Why haven't any of my 4 children had the same head principal for 4 years? They've all had at least 2, and we have a year and a half to go. I followed up my email to Dr. Green, to teachers my child currently has and those I keep in touch with, and heard, as I expected, that teachers are managing way too much and disruptive students, and students not following school board policy or not being held accountable. There's too much new this year. We have 4 new programs at once. A new math curriculum, new student information system, a switch to CVE, and a move to using Empower as a grading system. It's been too much for your teachers and your students. Teachers are teaching, grading, explaining the grades, managing student behavior, all while attempting to meet expectations, which are sometimes not logical or realistically achievable. Students are attempting to meet marks that are not always age appropriate, are not self-paced, and do not always fit the needs of our community. It's been too much for teachers for a long time. It's been entirely too much for teachers since we have returned to school after the quarantine. We have to raise the bar here on student behavior, and we have to lower the bar. I said it, we have to lower the bar for what we expect our teachers to be doing all day, every day, without backup and consequences for those who aren't here to learn. Our students who are here to learn need to know that they are important and that those who disrupt the environment will be held accountable and expected to repair and recognize the damage they have done. Parents need to be contacted and held accountable for how their children are behaving at school. Action by administration needs to be swift, timely, and in accordance with our handbooks and policies. We need to stop punishing the whole group when we know exactly who offenders are. We have great teachers and students. We just saw a whole bunch of them. That's who we need to be focusing on because they are our champions. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out today. We have another individual, and yes. I do not want to try saying your name because I don't want to be like,
No, it's all right.
could you
Just
tell us,
say-
could you tell us your name?
Mustafa, class of '09.
Mustafa.
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 Yes, sir.
Thank you for coming out tonight, sir.
Class of '09.
Class of '09.
Yes, sir. I don't have prepared remarks because I wasn't planning on addressing the board, but might as well. I have a kid going to Wiley. She goes to first grade. She's the third generation of my family going to Ritenour. At what point are we going to say enough is enough with the school threats and guns being found and I really don't know what to say, but at one point we're going to say enough is enough. We need. I know you guys. I really appreciate all the communication. Every time there is an event or a threat, I receive the email. My wife received an email as well, even though she's not well spoken English. She received an email in her native language, so that's a pretty good thing you guys do. But at one point, we're going to enhance the security measure. I know you guys took with the Prop S. I'm sorry, I don't know what prop it was, but Prop S for the security. I know you enhanced the security. For example, the door can be open for anybody. You just can't pull the handle open and walk in. But I feel like, at least at the high school, it might sound hectic, but I think it's time to install security type, airport security type of measure, like magnetometer, you know. Like I said, it might be a little over, but I think it's necessary to know the student will be at least for a certain amount of times, or like, excuse me, but the magnetometer, I think just at least at high school will enhance the security measures that you guys already take. Like I said, I want to commend you guys for every time there is an event or security threat, we immediately receive an email, let us know that our kid's safe. And you guys taking the necessary precaution in cooperation with the local law enforcement to make sure it's an isolated incident and there is, you know, we don't need to stay alert all the time, but you know, my daughter is 6 years old. I have 10 months, probably he's going to be the second kid to go to Ritenour, that if we end up moving. But my class of '09, what I like to call is the last year of the good old days. I went to half of the year of '08 to get, well, I was supposed to graduate on '08, but I was back half the year to earn some more credit because that's the year I came from my native country, Georgia. So during my time in half of the school year in '08 and half of the whole school year of '09, I don't never remember that we have security threats in our high school, except, you know, juvenile fighting. That happened everywhere, I get it. But during my time in Ritenour High School, we never had a gun incident. Never. Now you guys may correct me if I'm wrong, but like I said, we've never had a gun found, let alone online threats of shooting the whole school. If, like I said, if my magnetometer sounds too much, I would like to increase the local law enforcement or school resources officer, increase presence in the building. 2 or 4 or whatever you think it's necessary. That's all.
Stay tuned. I think you'll like what you see.
All right, I will.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you.
After public comments then, we'll We'll move to reports. And the president's report is first, so here we go. Ritenour Hispanic Heritage Month. Ritenour School District joins communities around the United States in celebrating the Hispanic Heritage Month. The celebration began on September 15th and will end next Tuesday, October 15th. Ritenour celebrates the rich culture and heritage of our fastest growing population. Nearly 30% of Ritenour students are originally from Mexico and countries in Central and South America. Each Ritenour school engaged students in learning projects, events, announcements, and activities that tapped into the history and culture of Hispanic trailblazers who have made a significant impact on American history, as well as enjoying authentic Latin American music, dance, art, and cuisine. Ritenour's celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month showcases the significant influence of Hispanic culture within our own community here. This month-long celebration not only educates, but also fosters a deeper appreciation of the rich diversity within our schools. And that concludes the President's report. Next is our Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas. Board members, I'd like to recognize Nadia Majid Ali, Ritenour High School senior. She made history for the district and the entire St. Louis Community College system when she earned the prestigious designation as the youngest student to receive the status of Honors Program Scholar. She completed the rigorous requirements quicker than any student in the history of St. Louis Community College. Last month, she was surprised by a group in receiving a certificate and honors cord and medal that she will wear at graduation this June on her amazing accomplishment. She's the first student to complete all requirements to become an honors program scholar in just 2 semesters. This is including adult learners at the entire St. Louis Community College program as well. During the 23-24 school year, she finished 4 rigorous honors research projects in chemistry, sociology, Spanish, and pre-calc, on top of her honors coursework, and maintained a 4.0. She immerses herself in her academic endeavors. She also puts 100% into her extras, playing on the Ritenour High School tennis and soccer teams. She volunteers with students at Wyland, the Little Creek Nature Center in the Furries and Florissant School District, and at the St. Louis County Library, Rock Road Branch, and Hope Church. Nadia will graduate in May with an associate's degree and a high school diploma. She will attend Missouri S&T and will major in aerospace engineering. Congratulations to Nadia. Board members, that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, sir. 4.3 is our student representative report. Ms. Alizea Smith.
Alright, so regarding the cyberbullying, well, not the cyberbullying, but the cyber threats, many kids at the high school have seemed to gotten immune to the threats, and many kids feel like nothing's going to end up happening if the threats come, and it's really not okay for shooting threats to be normalized in schools, especially because of what happened with Georgia, because kids are just now coming back to school. They still need to learn. And also, the high school is getting weapon detectors, almost like the airport ones. And I definitely feel like it's better because with our handheld ones, I feel like we can be missing weapons. But with these big, actual metal detectors, we can be getting weapons, vapes, anything. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. The next report is from MSBA and the NSBA. Ms. Vanessa Enriquez Pimblott is not here, so we'll turn to Ms. Clever Jones.
Thank you. So they'll talk about this in the video, but we do have the MSBA conference coming up next weekend. The Ritenour School District will be doing a presentation, school board members as well as administrators partnering together, I can't get my words out, to do a presentation on competency-based learning. Then at the end of the month, there is also the CUBE conference, which is the Council of Urban Boards across the United States coming together, and that will be happening the 27th through the 30th of this month. And if we could watch the video.
Welcome to the October edition of the Missouri School Boards Association's Board Report. The start of the new school year has seen a large number of safety threats to schools. The threats have disrupted learning, distressed students, families, and teachers, and have ongoing costs. K-12 Safety and Center for Education Safety Director Bob Klossmeyer says that the increase in threats has emphasized the importance of having a solid emergency operations plan.
So what the safety specialists, they're busy with everyday activities, operation activities, and what they're finding is, they're realizing is that the emergency operation plan directly relate to the responses they need to take for these threats and school threats and different activities. So what they're finding is by not having an emergency operation plan in place or not having an updated version, they're scrambling to get those completed. And an emergency operation plan is not something that can be done in a short amount of time. It takes time, it takes effort, and it takes a collaborative team to get this thing done.
On December 5th and 6th, MSBA Center for Education Safety Team is hosting a 2-day safety summit titled The Secret to Great Crisis Communications and Emergency Planning. The summit is designed for school leaders, focused on crisis planning, and will provide valuable insights, best practices, and practical strategies to effectively prepare for and navigate through crises in school settings. Engage with expert speakers and connect with leaders to enhance your crisis management skills to keep staff and students safe.
We just started another school year, and already the nation's been rocked by more school violence. Here in Missouri and around the country, we're experiencing a significant increase of online threats of violence to our schools. Our kids, families, and educators need us to be at our very best on the worst of days. And the best response happens with a great crisis communication plan and when you're emergency prepared.
Bob Klossmeyer says that this summit is not just for safety personnel.
Well, there's a misconception out there that this is focused on just safety personnel. Your safety coordinators, your safety specialists, but it really isn't. I mean, it is for everybody from all levels, especially those administrators and those board members, because, when the event happens, when there's an emergency and the event happens, the media is going to be involved. You're going to have media coming from all over. They're coming out of the woodwork. And they're not going to the safety coordinators. They're going to the leadership. They're going to the superintendents, to the administrators. They're going to the board. And they want to know, what do you know about your emergency operation plan? What do you know about what happened?
Visit the MSBA website for information on registering for the Safety Summit and more information on the emergency operations planning tools and trainings available to your district. Filing for the next school board election is only a couple of months away. There are many things that districts can do between now and the start of filing to prepare. MSBA's Associate Executive Director of Leadership Development, Catherine Whitaker, says that this is a great time to start communicating with the community about the upcoming election process.
So candidate filing doesn't open until December. So you have technically 2 months to let your community know that you do have an opening on the school board potentially. You have time to let them know what it looks like to be a school board member, what does it mean to file, how do you file, and just to give them information about your school district in general. We've created a presentation that superintendents, board presidents can use to inform the community about their school district as a whole, and then also about what it means to be a school board member.
Whitaker also says that MSBA has numerous resources to help potential school board candidates from filing to election.
So on our website, we have a ton of information, some written by lawyers so that they know how to appropriately file and run a campaign, but some written by us, just again, trying to outline what does it look like to be a school board member, what does it feel like to be a school board member, what are your responsibilities. So we've created a module for candidates that school districts can sign up for and then give the login information to those candidates. So they can go in and have a better understanding of, now that you're a candidate and you filed, what does it look like to be a school board member? It's interactive, gives a lot of information about the state and what it means to be a school board member.
Visit the MSBA website for all of the resources and training modules available to school boards and potential candidates. Additionally, you can learn about required notices, dates and times for filing, candidate qualifications, financial disclosure statements, and recommended practices from the first day to swearing in new board members at MSBA's Board Candidate Filing and Elections webinar held on October 30th at 1 p.m. This webinar is recommended for the superintendent, board secretary, and other central office staff involved in candidate filing. For more information, visit the MSBA website. And last but certainly not least, thank you to all who hosted and attended MSBA's fall regional meetings. Meetings were held in all of the state's 17 regions as attendees gathered to network, learn, and share with fellow public school leaders to ensure all students succeed. That's it for this month. Thanks for allowing us to have submit your board meeting, and we'll see you in November for the next MSBA board report.
Thank you very much. Now we turn to Mr. Rob Eaton for the Special School District report.
So we had our last governing council meeting on, I gotta look that up, September 24th, 23rd, 24th, 23rd. September 23rd. My days are all running together. So I shared it wasn't contentious, but points were being made. As we shared, some of SSD has pretended that they don't realize that there is a staffing issue in North County and that people are leaving. The point was made well enough. I received a message from Dr. Macklin's secretary asking to have a meeting with me. I have shared with Dr. Kilbride. We're trying to work out a schedule that we can make that happen. I've asked for Dr. Kilbride to attend that with me just as the representative from the district. But we will be sitting down with Dr. Macklin to have some conversations. So I think I'm seeing maybe some light that we're at least listening. So.
Look forward to hearing some ideas that come out of that. Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to our business items. First thing we have, and you guys might see this a little differently, we're trying to keep things together, so if we have people doing more than one business item, we're going to keep them together so that they don't have to move back and forth. So with that, Dr. Michael LaChance is going to present to us personnel recommendations.
Thank you for scheduling me first in this case. This is the first time in 5 years that I've been first one on the agenda. I appreciate it.
You moved on up.
I'm here to present items 1 through 36, open to any questions or comments you may have, and ultimately asking for your approval.
Good artwork.
Very good.
So after looking over these recommendations, are there any questions?
I'd like a motion to approve personnel reports 1 through 36 as presented to the Board of Education.
Second.
A motion and a second. Are there any questions, comments, or thought on these 36? Call the vote. Mr. Eaton?
Yes.
Dr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Garden?
Yes.
Ms. Glover Jones?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes.
Thank you, board members.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next thing is enrollment and class size presentation. And Ms. Julie Hahn approaches.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Tonight, we're going to talk about the enrollment, class size, and obviously with our vision. When we look at who are our future leaders and graduates, that relates to our vision. When we look at the mission, we're looking at do we have a supportive staff? Are they able to meet the needs of every student in our classes? So Mike is going to talk about the class size. And when we get to the equity statement, it really is who we are. So, and we know that we have a lot of students in the Ritenour School District, and we know that we're going to look at the different backgrounds and talk about also some of these demographics this evening. With the enrollment report, every year we have to send in something to DESE called the October count, which is the last Wednesday in September, when we actually look at the numbers, because we know we have a lot of students at the beginning of the year that might enroll or roll over, but they never actually come to school. So that number initially is very high. And so then we look at that last Wednesday in September to determine how many students we actually have in the buildings. One of the things I want you to look at this year also is our ethnicity. And this is showing you over time what the ethnicity in the Ritenour School District has been. And this year we have seen about a 2% increase in our Hispanic population and about a 2% decrease in our white population. And so when you look at our black and multiracial ethnicities, those remain the same. Obviously, our racial and ethnic demographics are very different from the state, which is another need for a district and a staff to have cultural competency and making sure that our staffing also has cultural competency. Our district enrollment has increased from last year. This is only looking at K through 12. It does not include SECE. I will go over those numbers in a few more slides. But right now, we're at about 6,500 students in the school district for K through 12. With the building enrollments, you can see that the green is an increase in all of the buildings. Ritenour Middle is the only one that did not show an increase this year.
This is our EL students.
Oh, I'm sorry. How did I get way up there? Somehow, I apologize, somehow everything is... Can you do that? Stop. Come on, up, come on. No, this is incorrect. This is our EL population in the district. This is not the building enrollments. I will go over the building enrollments. I'm not sure how that slide got there, but one of the things I want you to note is that we have seen an increase again in our EL population. And one of the areas that we need to continually look at is our elementary buildings. Marion is at about 30% of the population of English learners. And we've also seen a huge jump at Booter Elementary with about 28% of their students receiving EL services. Looking at the School for Early Childhood, right now we are actually, this number has just gone up a little bit at 236 students. Of these, we have 136 full-day students, 13 that are half-day, and 83 special school district students. We still have 8 open slots that are left from the lottery that Jennifer is trying to get people to come in and finish up the paperwork. We are certain we will have those full, but right now we are not at full capacity because we still have those 8 open seats. Our kindergarten enrollment has jumped from last year, which was a huge relief for us. We were very concerned, over the past several years that it was taking a long time for people to re-enroll in kindergarten. So we are up about 100 students from right after the pandemic and up from about 50 from last year. With our grade level enrollment, grade 10 is our highest grade. Grade 8 is our lowest grade. One of the areas with homeschooling that we are concerned about is that people in Missouri do not have to notify a school any longer that you are being homeschooled. Oftentimes, families will send us notification, so we do have 17 notifications of families choosing to homeschool. But in Missouri, we're one of the states that are pretty lax on homeschooling, not even requiring a lot of follow-up for families that are choosing to homeschool. If you look at other placements, these are students that are still considered Ritenour School District students, but may not be actually in attendance at this time. We have 53 students who attend a special school district building, and right now we have 2 in juvenile detention and 7 students that we know of that are in the MOCAP program. And again, they're not required to notify the school district. I'm not sure, we're going to skip this slide because I'm not sure what happened there. I apologize. If you look at the languages in Ritenour, we have English, obviously, as our #1 language. It's followed by Spanish, French, Vietnamese, and Arabic. This has remained pretty similar over the past 5-6 years. But you can see a huge increase in our immigrant students. So that would be 531 students that we have in the school district that have been here less than 3 years. So with that, that means we probably have a lot of students that are just now learning English because they are considered immigrant students. Looking at our McKinney-Vento, one of the things here, these are our students who qualify under McKinney-Vento as being unhoused. So we have seen a large increase in the number of students this year that also qualify under federal guidelines at 372 students that meet that criteria. And of those, 109 of them are considered unaccompanied youth, meaning that they don't have a parent that is their legal guardian with them. Our foster care numbers have gone way down, and I'm unsure as to why these numbers have gone way down. Part of it might be because we're having difficulty with the Children's Division with a turnover of case managers, and we're not always getting notification of students who are in foster care or foster placement, and I'm often hearing about it from someone and trying to reach them to talk about, are the students okay? Are we going to keep them in our school district? It's been a big challenge for all of the student services people within the whole St. Louis County.
Julie, before you go any farther, go back one slide to the McKinney-Vento. Have we understood or looked at why that number is going up? Why did it go up this much?
Well, I think that a lot of it has to do with our economy and the prices of things and jobs, and so many families are really struggling, so they're often doubled up, tripled up, and trying to save money that way, and many families have been evicted, so that would qualify them. Before we go to the next slide, I do want to share with you where we are with the numbers in the buildings, because I think that's important, and I'm very disappointed that slide's not on here. The only building this year that did not see an increase is at Ritenour Middle School. All of our buildings saw student numbers increase. The high school is at 1,942, and initially we were much, much higher, so that waiting until the October count helped us quite a bit. And actually that's only up 10 students from where we were last year. When we look at those elementary buildings, they're up about 200 students. Middle school is down about 181. So we're seeing it in the elementary, and we're seeing a drop in the middle schools. Also want you to be aware that at IWC, we're at 123 students, which is a pretty big increase from where we've ever been in previous years. We're at 123 right now. So again, our enrollment in the district is higher than previous years. We've seen an increase in kindergarten enrollment, which we hope to see that go up again next year. Largest number of students in grades 5 and 10, lowest in 8th grade. This is a big difference too. If you look at Island Elementary, they have 443 students. Marvin has 571 students. So for an elementary building, that's a significant difference. And it makes it a little bit even more challenging when you're trying to provide enough supports and services in that building. Our ELL enrollment continues to increase. We continue to be a diverse school district with an increasing number of Hispanic students, and we also are, unfortunately, are seeing an increase in the number of unhoused students.
Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about class size, and I'd like for you to keep in mind what Ms. Hahn just shared about student enrollment increased at the middle school, decreased at the middle school.
Increase in the elementary.
Sorry, increased at the elementary, decreased at the middle school, and then stayed relatively the same at the high school. You'll see that play out in our class size comparisons to previous years as well. So the HR objectives related to class size are to ensure learning occurs in a supportive environment, enables every student to think critically, solve problems, and develop knowledge and skills necessary for success in our diverse global society, to ensure all students are served by highly qualified teachers, and to ensure that class size adheres to Missouri School Improvement MSIP standards and guidelines. Just a reminder of those guidelines, the Department of Elementary and Secondary Ed has a recommended standard and also has a minimum standard, and our goal is typically in the middle of those two standards. We don't staff to fully meet the recommended standard throughout, and very few school districts do that. It's always somewhere in the middle. And just a reminder that PE and performing arts classes can exceed regular class size limits when there's adequate space and supervision provided. So looking at our elementary schools, you'll see, just as Ms. Hahn explained, Island with fewer students has 67% of their classes meeting the recommended standards, whereas Marvin has 37. I want to point out that that's a difference of, per class, a few students. So, you know, there are places, for example, first grade at Iveland and Marvin, where their average class sizes are 19 and 20 at both schools. But then, for example, at Marvin, third grade, at 25 students in a class, and Iveland has 19 or 20 still in their classes in third grade. And so there are times, and you may have seen a previous personnel report, where we moved a teacher from one school to another before the school year started to adjust for that. And that comes into play considering the class sizes that we see when enrollment takes place late, when there's new arrivals to the school late as the school year gets started, but also taking into consideration space available in each school. So that difference from the year prior is a decrease of 11% across the board for the elementary schools related to the number of classes that were meeting that recommended standard. When we look at Hake Middle School, and I'll go through each middle school core classes and their encore classes, you'll see that Hake Middle School has some high percentages of classes meeting the state recommended standard. Their class sizes are fairly low this year. They've got pretty solid class sizes included in their elective classes. Overall, 98% of Hake Middle School classes, which is an increase from the year before of 3%, meet that state recommended standard. I would doubt that this would be something that we would be retaining year to year as we look at drawing down staff and as we look at changes in enrollment. We are looking at different ways of enrollment projections because at times our projections are not matching the numbers of students who show up. So we're looking at measuring it in multiple ways moving forward. At Ritenour Middle School, their class sizes also, by and large, are meeting the recommended standard by the Department of Elementary and Secondary Ed, certainly in their core classes, but also in their elective classes. So 76% of the courses at Ritenour Middle School meet that state recommended standard, which is a decline from 6% from the year before. And I just want to point out, I am recognizing the sections that are exceeding that standard, and for example, music is allowable by the Department of Elementary and Secondary Ed. I do want to point out that Ritenour Middle School is seeing a tremendous interest in their band classes, so the administration there is adjusting to provide additional supervision in band classes. Just there's been an outstanding response from students regarding interest in band at Ritenour Middle School. Looking at Ritenour High School, you'll see changes from the middle school. So as Ms. Hahn said, they've been fairly stable, 10 more students than the year before. So their overall change from the year before, you'll see is 1% decline in the percentage of classes meeting the state standard. I do want to point out there are a few sections that are exceeding the standard that we are working to address. At the point that this report was placed, we had one section of 9th grade social studies that was at 34 students. That has since changed, and that course is now meeting the standard and not exceeding the standard. So as counselors were working to even out class sizes, it was taking some time, and they're actually still working on that. There are 4 sections that are still above 33 at Ritenour High School, primarily in elective classes. So you'll see FACS courses. There's a course in FACS, 2 in media convergence, which is actually down to 1 now, that are exceeding that standard, and counselors are working to balance that out to get that back to meeting the standard that the department sets for us. Again, the overall percentage at the high school is 45% of all classes are meeting that recommended standard. And think about the high school shifting to a new system for scheduling their classes. Their variance in class size is anywhere from 5 students in a class to 40 students in a class. And so 40 students is acceptable in PE, but then they've also got classes with 5 students. And as they work to balance out those classes, that has taken them some time this school year. Overall, again, the elementary school had 56% of all classes meeting the state recommended standard. That's an 11% decline from the year before. Middle schools, Hake Middle School, 98% of all classes meeting that state recommended standard. That's a 3% increase from year before, and Ritenour Middle School is a 6% decline from the year before. And the high school has stayed pretty consistent, around 45% of all classes meeting the state recommended standard. I do want to just remind the board that our class sizes in the past few years have been smaller due to the district using ESSER funds to support students better. So we were using those funds to add supports outside of the classroom, counselors, social workers, SEL staff, teachers' aides, but also in places we were able to add classes to reduce class sizes. And so as we look for the next 4 to 5 years to draw down on staff through attrition, we will likely see class sizes raised based on that. So again, in summary, 100% of elementary and middle school core classes meet the state standards. 5 Ritenour High School classes at the point that I created this report were exceeding the state standard by 1 student each. That's down to 4 classes as of today. And I've been assured by the end of this week that those classes will be evened out. Counselors are in the process of doing that. And 61% of all classes meet the state recommended standard. Administrators will continue to monitor class sizes. I track them monthly, and we have conversations about changes we need to make in scheduling, even second semester, and supports that are needed for students. I'm open to any questions you may have.
I'm a little concerned about having 109 students. I'm guessing that they're couch surfing, considering the McKinney-Vento. Are there programs that we can kind of put out there to help them so at least they have a safe place to live?
We do. We have our social workers and counselors working with them, and they oftentimes are staying with a friend or staying with someone else.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. 5.3, Mathnasium Contract. Dr. Deneen Stewart.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So I am providing an update on Mathnasium and the contract proposal for Mathnasium. The partnership that we have with Mathnasium meets and aligns with our vision, mission, and equity statement with the goal of improving math outcomes for all of our students and also for all of our students to ensure that they think critically, solve problems, so that they are successful in our future. Also with their equity statement, it also aligns with our equity statement. All students that attend Mathnasium have a pretest, and the learning is individualized for each student based on their needs. So we will review some math data, which provides a rationale for Mathnasium tutoring, also the proposed plan, the results from this past school year, and a recommendation and questions that you may have. So this is a graph of math outcomes for students, that the percentage of students that are proficient in and advanced in math, MAP and EOC data. So as you can see, it compares Ritenour School District data to state data. And we can see that there's definitely a difference between our outcomes in Ritenour and our state. Also, this graph compares 2021 to 2022 data in ELA Math, Science, and Social Studies. And you can see that our data in math shows that we have been very stagnant with proficient and advanced percentages of students on our MAP and EOC. So the Mathnasium plan for this proposed plan for this school year is to have Mathnasium for 6 months from October to April 30th of this school year. Still, the location would be at Husky Support Center. Students would have an option of going to the Creek Core location. We have to have a minimum of 25 students to offer it at Husky Support Center. We have to have 60 to 70 students versus the 200 that we have had in previous years due to ESSER funds being, we no longer have ESSER funds. Students would attend 2 times a week versus 3 times a week, and the fees are $50 less for our middle school students and our high school students, with a diagnostic fee of $84.50 per student. So this also explains the 6-month commitment, 60 to 70 students, as long as they meet that criteria. Students will be dropped if they don't attend. They will be dropped from the program as well. The cost would be $17,326 per month for 70 students at the secondary level. The criteria will be a little bit different this year. We have our Imagine Math program. The students will be selected from that program if they take math at the middle school and also Algebra 1 at the high school. We would select students that are in that basic and below basic category, and students that may be at risk for not obtaining credit for Algebra 1. And this year we've added the attendance in school. They have to have attendance of 85% or higher because of what we've seen at Mathnasium, the lack of consistency with students attending Mathnasium. We're thinking that this may help to identify students that have better attendance in school. And again, this is the incentive program that Mathnasium provides to try to encourage students to do well and to recognize students that do well and show improvement. This is the pre and post-test results of that Mathnasium provides. So you can see at the high school, 35.32% had a pre-test average, post-test 60%, so the growth was 24%. And Ritenour Middle, pre-test 30%, post 74, growth 43, and Hake Middle School 36, post-test 74, and growth 38. And this also provides a visual of pre and post testing at Ritenour High School, Ritenour Middle, and Hake Middle School. And another graph of pre and post and the growth. Just a picture here that Mathnasium also really focuses on the relationships. So there's an annual picnic at Norman Myers Park that they host for families. So any questions?
Board members, we heard great questions and conversation last week. I've captured it. The connection to student performance on state assessments. That was the conversation last week. I believe, well, we are at the forefront of moving away from state assessments to measure student performance and so on. So I heard the question around that connection, and we are creating a pilot group around 50 students. It's going to be based on the proficiency scales, growth over the mean. We've already added it to the June work session agenda as discussed last week, where we will not just measure the impact on the pre and post from Mathnasium, but we'll measure it on the pre and post based on the proficiency scales for the students that are performing. So a full report, if you approve this, would be provided at the June work session to measure impact. Another piece on Mathnasium, focus this year is on focusing on possibilities and removing obstacles. Mathnasium has a corporate policy about where the centers can be located. The closest centers, one's in Creve Coeur, one's on Ladue Road in Clayton, and there's another one out in St. Charles. Corporate policy not to locate in a community unless combined family income is north of $140,000. So that is an obstacle for many families that are here in the Ritenour community and a number of communities in North County. So excited that we've been able to eliminate that obstacle, and we've got a satellite campus in the middle of our district. We just want to make sure that there's impact not only on their assessments, but on our proficiency scales as well.
So the highest level of math will be then in Algebra 1?
Algebra 1.
Also, board members, for those students that have been coming consistently, as shared last week, Pride and Promise Foundation has committed $15,000 per year to provide scholarships for those students that are at higher level math that have been attending Mathnasium consistently over the last 2 years so that their service can be uninterrupted.
Awesome.
Ready for a motion?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'd like to motion to approve Mathnasium tutoring at $17,326 per month for 70 students at the secondary level.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions, thoughts, or comments? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Ms. Glover-Jones?
Yes.
Dr. Albin?
Yes.
Mr. Eaton?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, board members.
Moving on to 5.4 is our first reading of policy GB, and I turn to Dr. Kilbright for this.
And Dr. Thomas, members of the board. So this is the first reading of policy. This was not in the edits last week, as we do not have this policy currently on the books. As a reminder, we participate with the MSBA Policy Service, and generally policy edits or new policy come from updated Missouri statute or lawsuits that result in judgments in court that we then need to represent in our policy. So for context, the state decreased the requirements to qualify to be a substitute teacher in an attempt to help districts fully staffed schools. This was during the pandemic. Individuals may now receive a substitute teacher certificate by completing at least 36 semester hours of college credit or completing 20 hours of online training and possessing a high school diploma. The law also prohibits people under the age of 20 from teaching in high school. The prior requirements were at least 60 hours of credit, college credit, to be a substitute teacher. Also, the substitute teaching certificate It's valid for 4 years instead of 1 to eliminate an obstacle because the substitute pipeline is still substitute pool is pretty shallow. If the person substitutes for at least 5 days or 40 hours each year, certificate is valid for 4 years. Now, a specific policy language. Regarding substitute employees, a majority of the whole board must approve the employment of all employees, which includes substitute employees. That is something that as a board we already do. Superintendent will present an initial list of substitute employees to the board for approval. If sub-employees are added or removed from a list, superintendent will submit the revised list or the individual changes to the board for approval. Board members, we do that twice a year. District will provide all sub-teachers access to a safe survey that they're required to complete, which is part of practice in accordance with law. Substitute teachers under the age of 20 will not teach in grades 9 through 12. Regarding part-time employees, superintendent or designee may create part-time employment positions in situations where the district will benefit from employing part-time staff or where full-time staff are not necessary to accomplish the district's goals. The district will employ persons in part-time positions in accordance with the district's regular hiring practices and board policy. In the past, board members, there were job sharing arrangements that existed here in the district where one full-time position would be split between 2 persons. That is a practice that we moved away from in the district. There is interest in exploring job sharing arrangements again. That's a conversation that we would have with a committee. I've seen the impact in some cases around job sharing that is not necessarily positive on students. There definitely is some interest amongst some staff in restarting job sharing. We'll be sharing an update with you in the future. Regarding employing retirees, the district may employ persons retired and currently receiving a retirement allowance from a public retirement system, but the district shall consult with that public retirement system before hiring one of their beneficiaries. The reason for that is to protect the retiree, because if we, or really they, run afoul of those retirement guidelines, then they risk their retirement benefit and are putting those retirement benefits in jeopardy. And finally, contracts while teachers employed on a regular part-time basis must explicitly state the percentage or the FTE equivalent for the work for which they are contracted, so that we may accurately calculate the accumulation for tenure. Board members, at this point, for part-time teacher employees, we do not have those positions here in the district, but this is recommended policy language that we have in the event that we move back in that direction. Board members, this is considered the first reading. If you have questions between now and next month, please reach out for clarification or understanding. Be coming back to you in November at the November business meeting for second reading and approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to 5.5, board member comments. Anybody have anything for the good and order of the district? No? Got nothing? Well then, we're going to move on. Our consent agenda items tonight, we're looking to approve items 6.1 through 6.11.
I move that we approve consent agenda items 6.1 through 6.11 as presented.
Second.
Motion is second, we'll call the vote. Ms. Glover-Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Eaton?
Yes.
Dr. Alvin?
Yes.
I'll vote yes. We're at 6.12, and we need a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to reconvene in closed session for state statute 610021 for discussion of personnel and student agenda items.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We'll call the vote. Mr. Eaton?
Yes.
Dr. Alvin?
Yes.
Ms. Glover-Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. We are now at closed session. And let's take a 5-minute break.